Andy, what kind of car are they getting?
There you go. Yeah.
Can we get 3 people in?
Well, the mayor's in good shape. He might could run behind.
I'm in great shape. I'm getting Cole in shape, I'll tell you.
He told me that. He's looking better.
He was running up and down that court today with those young guys.
Pull out his little Converse.
So Chris, you're in? Bill, you don't know for sure? Because if you're out, Bill, then us 3 can fit in that one car. Don't be saying
I know.
that.
Well, Mike called me last night. Said call Jerry to see if you need help with breakfast at the Lions Club.
That's at 7. I know I can't. I told him I'd try and help too, but we can go cook for an hour. It's 5 after 5. Let's get rolling.
There's more to that thought. The reason I gotta get up early.
Good evening. Tara. He's in the closet?
He's climbing in the closet.
He's climbing out of the closet or getting in the closet?
I've heard of these IT guys and
You there? Okay. Welcome to our workshop meeting, April 23rd, 2013. We'll go with item 1, approval of the agenda.
I'll move that we approve the agenda as outlined.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
Truman, aye.
Staley, aye.
Hudson, aye. Signaler, aye.
Turek, aye.
I seconded, didn't I?
Yeah. Item 2, discussion and review of the items for the 2014 fiscal year budget. Roger Carter.
Thanks, Mayor. I just want to kind of give the council, and so this will just take a few minutes on a status update of the budget. And I'd kind of just mentioned in my, as we've been bringing the budget together, which this is the piece, this is the part where all the puzzle pieces come together for us. We've had a couple of revenue numbers that we've re-looked at a little bit, and we've had, as we've looked at some of the expenses that have been involved too, the margin is a little slimmer than we thought it, and so we've come back and kind of had to have a little bit more time on that. So basically, just to give you a nutshell where we're at on the budget is the department budgets are frozen from the 2013 level. Now there are expenses that are incurred upon us that have nothing to do with us. For instance, dispatch fees went up $50,000. And our margin, if you remember from our previous discussion, was not wide anyway. So as we looked at those are expenses that we have to make. So basically we went back to the department head, said we need to freeze these. We'll have some different recommendations with regards to personnel, both new and new and used. New and used, that's pretty much correct. On what we'd be recommending on our existing employees as well. But this is the part where we make the budget kind of come all together and balance, and we're pushing it so hard that we knew we wouldn't give you the opportunity to review it like we wanted to. And plus we needed to just get all the pieces to fit together. So I apologize for that. I wish that wouldn't have happened that way. So what I'm going to ask as part of this agenda item, though, would be to ask if we could set a meeting between now and the 8th when basically we review that operational side and all the pieces coming together with respect to the budget. This is always a very high-tense, high-stress period of our life as we put these last things together, and so we just felt like we'd be pushing it too hard this evening, both for us and for you. So
we're looking for a meeting next week, probably?
Next week would be great. And again, we made some great progress today, so I think we'll be able to get some stuff out to you within the next couple of days, along with my assumption sheets that I send out each year with you, and that'll give you time to get through the budget as well. And again, honestly, our next meeting may not need to be that lengthy because so much is like a 2013 budget.
The problem next week, we've got cotton days all
Cotton Days all week. How about,
That's a great event, the city council meeting.
Part of Cotton Days, hey, there
As
you go.
part of the events of Cotton Days. Come in and watch. Hey,
Councilman Stady, did you get that put in?
With the new budget, we may just cancel Cotton Days if that happens, huh?
oh, we always fund Cotton Days. Again, I don't expect it to be, I think a couple hours and we can work it out, and we can do it as early as you want, so it doesn't have to take an evening, but I know sometimes early creates a problem.
Early does create a problem.
Next Wednesday?
Just do next Wednesday evening.
the first?
There's, as far as what I'm looking at for Cotton Days, there's nothing going on that night too.
I don't have a planning commission that night, so you could take whatever time you needed, because I don't have anything on my agenda, so.
We clearly didn't care, because
Yeah. Well,
the council just said, yeah, I'll do it Wednesday night, anytime we want.
Starkey, you and me, out, we're going.
well, I was just thinking
it's
sometimes
fine.
for that budget meeting, sometimes we're in the conference room anyways, so
Yeah.
that works for me.
What time, gentlemen?
6?
Yeah, let's do 6.
So did that work?
Sure.
6 o'clock Wednesday.
Okay, then we'll have
Wednesday,
Denise
May
post
1st.
that, and we'll have the material out for you. I appreciate the council's flexibility on that.
Do you think you can have that, the budget to us this week so we have some time to look it over?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, yesterday was a little bit more stressful day. Today, finance and others have done a great job today, and so I think we're prepared to hand you a balanced budget.
Has anybody talked to city manager Carter last week?
No.
Well, when you do, he's so pissy.
Oh, come on.
I just think this is justification for his behavior this last week.
Could be.
True. It's not true. All right, that's all I have on that, Mayor.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just adding that to my calendar. Okay, item 2, presentation of citizen engagement initiative tools.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. What we wanted to present this evening is, about 6 months ago, we're always looking at ways in which we can engage our citizens a little bit more. We do like the idea of creating a council meeting as part of Cotton Days. That might be one way we engage our citizens a little bit more, so great idea, council.
I doubt it.
But citizen engagement, I know, is very important to each of you council members, and it is for us as well. About 6 months ago, I became exposed to a product down in Mesa or a concept in Mesa, I should say, that was kind of a neat concept. I brought it back. I talked to some staff and said, here's the vision of what I think would be kind of a neat thing to do, see what you can do with it, and let them go to work. And so tonight what we want to present is something that we'd like to kick off at Cotton Days, and it's a citizen engagement initiative to engage our citizens even more. And so let me turn it over to Wendy.
Well, I'm going to pass out some stuff so you can check it out. I talk, and I do want to give credit to April Ellerman, that couldn't be here tonight, but she was our graphic designer on all this and put together our color schemes. What we did is we used our sky blue and our red rock, and we kind of made them a little bit more vibrant. Steve has been working hard on putting together a portal for this that he'll talk about in just a second. But we're excited because we've had most of these tools already, but it hasn't been in a format that, maybe some of our citizens can access very easily, or maybe they don't understand. We've always had, since Twitter and Facebook came about, a way for them to connect with us and follow us. And we've always had public forums, and we've always had open houses and things like that. But this is a portal site, which, are you going to show that right now, that part?
He'll show it in a minute.
Show it in just a second. Well, on the postcard that you have, it's Be Heard, Be Connected. And our tagline is Care, Connect, Contribute. And we love it right in that order because they need to care first. And this is how they can connect with us. And I'll go through each one of these steps.
Real
And
quick,
then-
before you even start there, the brand is yourwashington.org. So that's where, that's the brand, this is Your Washington.
It's kind of like our sticker right there.
I appreciate the large Y, it's a nice subtle reference to BYU. And
Oh, I
Oh
see.
my
We
gosh.
thought you'd
it's right there,
appreciate
Mayor.
that.
You
Well,
can see it as well as I can, Mayor.
They've got a U in there, they've got a U,
That's
Mayor.
not
What are you
crimson,
so
that's
concerned
not
about?
crimson.
You got a red background
Well,
with a U in the middle.
I will say too about the subtleties of the design,
I'm cool with it.
is the subtleties of the design was not intended to be a promotive of BYU, but also if you just drop the Y, it can be Our Washington as well.
Yeah, we love, it's almost a subliminal message in of itself. Your Washington meaning you're taking care of yourself. It's your Washington taking pride in your city. So we debated with the committee, and this one is perfect. I think it fits us perfectly. So our tagline again, care, connect, and then contribute. And we all know we've had citizens that want to know how they can engage or how their voice can be heard. And I think that just kind of simplifies it for us. So the first thing is your voice. So be heard, be connected. And I'm going to have Steve talk more about user voice in a minute, so we'll skip that one. Surveys, so we've got our panel, we've got surveys that we send out, forums, open houses, and then Washington Q&A that we already have in place. And then their source, or your source, is the web, and then our events calendar, or our city calendar. And then your connection is Facebook, Twitter, SMS, which is our texting service that we have, Blogger, YouTube, and Ustream. And so anyway, just kind of a simple way to show citizens how they can engage, how they can get in contact with you. We just thought to launch this off, we're going to do a little surprise where we already have a captivated audience at the parade. We're going to kick it off with some fun ideas that I don't want to disclose because you'll just have to be there and you'll have to watch. But right after following the parade, we want you to come and pick up a t-shirt, and we've made yourwashington.org t-shirts for you in the royal blue with this little stamp right here. And we want you to wear those proudly, and we're going to pass them out at the booth that day and in the parade, pass out the stickers to the kids, and have these being passed out, these postcard size marketing ads, just to try to get them excited about it. And then the best part is user voice, which I'm going to turn the time over to Steve. But really quick, I wanted to read our mission statement as part of this. And this kind of ties it all together. I really like it. Your Washington, a city of choice, a place like no other, where residents and businesses care, connect, and contribute to improve their community. So I'll turn the time over to Steve.
You know, one of the reasons we want you to, as part of this too, and Steve's going to point this out, is the connection is strongly a revamping of the council's pages as well on the website, because we want them to be able to connect with you as council members. Steve's going to point that out. That's why we want you, if you have a chance at the parade, or even if you don't, we'll get you a t-shirt that you can wear, because we want people to connect with their city council.
Okay, the actual brilliance of the brand name is that it's actually the location of where they go find it. So they don't have to remember anything except the name, right? So we bought a new URL for it, yourwashington.org. And what I've done is I've put all the tools in one place here, well, most of them. And this just got done about 2 hours ago. So it's missing
Can
a
I
few
look it
things.
up? Can
There
we
might
look
be
it up?
Yeah, you can check it out. There might be some things missing or some bugs that I'll work out before Cotton Days. But so at the top here is your connect part, links to all the different social media type sources that can be subscribed to, so that they can get a feed into their, their favorite social media that we use. Our events calendar has always been available on our homepage, but I added that to this as well because it's important, including links to some other calendars that are important: sports, community center events, Cotton Days. And then down below that, all of our news basically funnels to Twitter. All of our sources funnel to Twitter, so I've embedded Twitter right in there. Everything goes on this list in nice, short, readable form. It actually has a little box here that I haven't tried that lets them tweet back at us, so the communication go two ways. And then the last tool that's pretty much been on our website, but I've kind of rebuilt it and found some pictures of two of you that were missing. and added them on there. Please feel free to send me updated bios for this, but if you can see, if you click on your name, basically get your contact information at the top, the year you were elected, a link to the voting record, and your assignments and committees will show up as well, and then the bio that we put on when you first got elected.
Now, we want to add some additional stuff to that, don't we,
Voting
Steve?
record on there.
We want to be able to add, if you want to put in accomplishments or your goals as a city councilman, we want to put all that in there as well. So we'd like to get that from you as well.
And that would be with the bio. You could put whatever you want in there, format it how you want to put it on there. Also, if you have a Twitter or something you want to link, send that over as well. I know a couple of you have Twitter accounts that you use specifically for council stuff. Just anything you want to add so that citizens can engage with you.
Who all has a Twitter account on this council?
I do.
I don't do much city council, mine's more personal stuff.
That
I
doesn't,
haven't
it's
actually
not, it doesn't open
tweeted.
up,
I don't
Steve.
actually tweet,
What's
I
that?
just
I
read
can't get
tweets.
that to open up.
stalker.
No, it's the
YOUR-Washington.org.
best way to get news.
I know it is.
YOUR-Washington.org.
I was watching that
Oh.
deal in Boston when they
We
were
don't buy
starting out,
.coms
I
very
had
often.
play-by-play going. I knew as fast as the police
And
was all over.
in addition to that, you have the annual meeting schedule, the voting record, and the next meetings coming up with their agendas. So they can find out all they need to find out right in one source about interacting with the council. And then some of these other tools that have always been available, I just put here as well because they're engagement tools. The biggest tool is the user voice. And user voice is a company that was made to make it easier for companies to get feedback from their customers. So, for instance, a software company will use it for the users of that software to vote for new features. And it's pretty effective that way, and they've got a huge user base. So we're just kind of moving that into city use. So instead of software customers, we have taxpayers or citizens or residents, and they can come submit whatever they want. They don't have to create an account for it. It's pretty frictionless. Basically, they just need an email address and their name, and they can enter an idea. And each user gets 10 votes. So when they submit an idea, it takes one of their votes. And they can vote on an item, somebody else's or their own, up to 3 votes. And then that moves it to the top. So people can submit their own and vote for others, which will move the more popular ones to the top, which would allow you to vet issues with your citizen base.
So we may ask a question. For instance, we may say something to the effect of, what would you like to see as the next recreational facility? People would give their opinions, and then they would vote on other people's opinions, and what it would be as a vote sourcing process, which would boil those up. Or they submit their own. Just, I think that you need to, and Steve will talk about this. We've got a couple samples here.
I worded it, I would like to suggest, and then, anyway, and then if they like another one, like this trail connection, they could come in here and vote 1 to 3 votes.
This was done for you, Councilman Staley.
Yeah, I saw that.
So read that out loud.
Do I dare?
Yeah.
We would like to reach the area between Celestial Kingdom and of God and the Hell,
That's the terrestrial.
which are 2
kingdom of
actual
God.
areas in Washington.
You talking
City.
about Curtin's place?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of the church.
What did it say?
We'd like to connect
That wasn't my tweet.
Celestial.
My idea.
But there does need to be a trail between there. I know the runners really like to. The runners will word it different when it goes live.
When you say they only get 10 votes now, how does that, is that per idea?
No,
Per-
10 votes per user, and that's a good question, because when an idea gets closed, or, it's matured and it gets closed, they get their votes back.
Okay,
So, yeah, they get 10 votes, but they recycle.
okay, that's not on a yearly basis then.
No, and what it keeps from happening is you don't get a ballot stuffing issue. So you don't get somebody who says, let's do this, and I just get all the neighbors. Well, they get the neighbors to vote for it, but they can't just stuff all, and they can use more than 1 vote for an idea. They can use up to, is it 3?
3,
Yeah, 3.
3 votes if they want, but they are limited in what they do.
And I'm
This
sure
also doesn't allow for anonymous.
I'm sure they can game it, but, when you have a community on here, it's gonna be less likely that they would.
Sure.
Just like if they're in a public meeting, they're less likely to try and cheat or something.
Will you have a spot on our city website that will drive traffic?
Yes. and several other ways as well. So that's kind of the, did I miss something? Besides the.
No, we're really excited about the user voice portion. This is the new item we've added besides reformatting this into a new platform called yourwashington.org. I'm actually thrilled to death that we were able to secure that URL, and that to the appreciation of Steve, that's just fantastic. Anytime you're trying to grab something that says Washington in the United States, it's a bit of a problem, and we've been very successful with Washington City. Thank you, Trent Staley, who snagged that years ago, and then we bought it from him. And so yourwashington.org, I think, is a great brand name. We really are we're gonna have a booth.
We'll put this stuff at all of the city events, or Washington City Night, and we'll continue to promote this through other venues.
This is very unique, and we're actually engaging the press in this, because this whole concept, actually Mesa has won a number of awards with respect to how they've, and there's a little different format. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, I think Steve has done a much nicer job in the platform formatting than Mesa did. But the fact of the matter is, it's very unique for the state, it's very unique for our area, and so we want to get some recognition for this, not only with our citizens, but we're going to kind of promote this, as Steve said, in a variety of ways. But we think this has the potential of really catching on and being another good connection of ideas being able to flow to the council, and you get to see the level and gauge the level of interest that the citizens have with those ideas. Then as we capital budget, as we operationally budget, those are things that you start to already get a sense of where the citizens are with that.
And also, don't be afraid to submit your own ideas.
That's right.
It's for everybody. Staff could submit ideas, council could submit ideas, and everybody else who lives here, or maybe some people who don't, I guess.
And then basically we just monitor the site to
Yes,
see
it
what's
emails
trending.
us, and you can monitor, you can go there, everything will show up on the list there. The most popular will be pushed to the top. And there's another URL I could distribute to you that would give you more details probably.
So in order to vote, do you have to register? You don't have to register?
Mm-mm.
You just have to have an email address. It keeps
Email
track
address
by
and put your
email
name.
address.
Okay.
But you don't, there's no form you go to register. And I like that. I hope the whole web
So that's
moves
how
that
it
way.
tracks how many votes you've done? 'Cause,
By
okay.
email.
So it's not through your IP or anything?
Right.
Okay.
And unless they use that in the background to try and get you to, or this is you already. They do use cookies.
Okay.
Showcase has a steering committee, but I would suggest for you maybe meeting quarterly to just review some of these, so that we're always,
Or just part of our
Part of the
council process.
meeting, yeah. And
I know a top vote getter already. I'm gonna put in the city waive all utility bills. That will do it.
You get a lot of votes there.
there's no guarantee their vote will actually go somewhere.
Yeah, if you actually look at iMesa,
Waive all the-
and iMesa is a good example. If you get the chance to look at iMesa has, I don't know how many they've got on right now, maybe a half a dozen. And they're pretty legitimate, but not all of them are having action either, because the city can't. But the city notifies them too, says, this is under review, or no, we can't take any action on this right now. And then that kind of stops the voting too a little bit.
Where are the projects at on iMesa? So I'm there, I see the mayor's stuff.
That's why he likes our platform better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'd
You
probably
have
just
to
have to
go to the
spend some
user
time.
voice link and to get
Yeah.
to theirs.
Yeah, this one's a lot better format. iMesa's is not as user-friendly as this one.
So what you can see on the middle of my screen is my iPhone coming down the middle there. And so we talked about the address, the name and the address being one and the same, the logo being the location. So people shouldn't have a hard time finding it, but we can utilize posters or whatever using QR codes or other methods that are yet to be invented. And basically they just scan that and it goes right to the mobile version of yourwashington.org, and where they have nearly all the same tools, all the important ones. So they can go right to user voice and submit, and they can go to any of our social media outlets. They can see you guys, and you look pretty good on there. See all the same information.
We have no fascination with the Denver Broncos.
They can check events, they can read the news. they can do all that on their mobile phone, which is really important, especially on the launch, since they're gonna be out in the park, they can just scan this, or if they don't wanna download an app and scan it, they can just go to the name, yourwashington.org.
See, Steve and I have talked about this. This is not an app that we anticipate that people would necessarily keep this on their phone all the time, and that's okay. We recognize that. There are some apps they like, there's some apps that are useful every day, there's some that are not. This probably wouldn't necessarily be one useful every day. We'd like them to keep it, but by promoting it through our QR codes, another technology that Washington City has probably pushed more than anyone, the QR coding, they can just snap it at our buildings or anything else and add their idea right then, and then they don't even have to keep the app if they don't want
And
it.
so it's not a mobile app, it's a mobile website, but as you can see on the iPhone, I have an icon for it, which so I can save it as a sort of an app, which to me is, I wouldn't download a city app.
Get on here. Bubbling up just over the highway over there.
Oh,
Are you putting it on there?
No, I just got that idea though, because one of the Mesa ideas is save the Buckhorn Baths, which I thought was the hot spring, but it's the hotel.
So that's the yourwashington.org tool as it stands right now, which I think most of the important features are on there.
Yeah, that looks cool. That's a good idea. I like it.
Are there any questions?
we think this will be a great tool for the council. We hope it'll be a great tool for the council.
And you can either send your updates to Denise or me, it doesn't matter. I'm Stephen with a V at washingtoncity.org, or you can just send them through Denise if you prefer.
Thanks, Steve. So when we kick this off, are we gonna have some ideas already on there that people can vote on?
We'll take the hellhole one off. That was just a.
No, I know,
for
but
example.
I think it would be more beneficial if people can, if there's at least a few on there.
Like putting the tip money out.
Yeah. That they have, yeah.
We also will be pushing within the next 30 to 60 days the new quality of life survey that we do about every 2 years through the survey, through Qualtrics. So that will engage them fairly quickly on the survey side of things as well. So
maybe we could put a few of our budget things out, like build a new police station or the power plant, Trent's things. Let's see what people think about that and start that discussion.
Now, as I'm looking at it, it's just they can vote if they think it's a good idea, but there's no vote if they think it's a bad idea, right?
Right.
That's right.
Lack of votes would be the bad idea.
that's right.
Okay.
So it's truly a vote sourcing.
It's just same arguments on Facebook, there's no thumbs down.
And really its primary objective is really to allow the citizens to generate the ideas.
Right.
I mean, it's nice to prime it, but really the citizens, and then we bring back the ideas through these other forums as well, too, through like the open houses and those type of things. Because some of the items we may put out there, for instance, that it'd be very difficult for the citizens to make a decision based upon, without a lot of detail. We can't put a lot of detail into this.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's still good if we float them out there, then they can, at least they know what we're doing. You know, if they're not listening to these meetings, then they're gonna say, okay, these items are on the budget discussion, what do you think about them? And the more information, the better, I would think.
So for instance, one of the things that we haven't done a lot of is the use of Twitter. We could use Twitter a little bit more too, for instance, when we're discussing, let's say, a police station or the power facilities, and say the council will be discussing this evening this particular issue, the COSIUM or whatever, and try to get them engaged, because a lot of that, as you know, I mean, it takes you guys meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting to kind of come to some thought process with respect to it, and that's what we'd want to do.
But your first thing is to get the users there.
Get 'em
so we can
online,
have the
yeah.
discussion. So if you guys would all
Which
help.
is Wendy's kickoff.
Wear your shirt proudly.
Wonder what priming issues we could put on there.
Ball fields,
I'm sure they can come up with some good ones.
downtown.
Just where they're all gonna be.
Well, if you have an idea, just put it on there.
And I think what we're going to find, to be honest with you, if we just show them that this is your idea place, you're going to see some getting populated very quickly.
No, they'll do them on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's great. I think it's good. Thank you. Thank you all for your time and efforts in putting that together. Any other discussion on that? If not, we'll move on to item 4, discussion and review of active military waiver of utility charges. Roger Carter.
All right, Mayor, this is just an item we've had for a number of years, and it's not come back to the council for probably a couple years, but we haven't had a lot of active ones. But some time back, this was particularly relevant during the time of the conflict both in Afghanistan and in Iraq, where we had a number of our citizens engaged in combat action over there. The council had chosen at that time that if a citizen could bring in the active military orders to the utility office, that the city would waive all utility fees, including the pass-along fees. So that actually came at a cost to the city. I think it turned out well. It certainly wasn't a bank buster for us, and I think the goodwill that occurred with our community was worth it from a dollars and cents standpoint. Now, it hasn't come up just kind of to the top of our mind for a while since the engagements in the Middle East have kind of calmed down. But we did have one the other day that came in, and it is a legitimate active orders. And so the question was asked by Administrative Services Department, will we continue to do this? I said I didn't know. It had been a while since we had discussed it, so let me just bring it up to the council and ask the council's input with respect to it.
Councilman Trick, were you here when that was initiated?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
To me, it's a great thing. I think that I'm certainly supportive of it going forward. I think that we've had some of those who benefited from it come and address this council and express their appreciation and how it did make a difference with their families while they were gone. So to me, it's a positive.
I think our community, the people who we represent, wholeheartedly agree with it. I haven't met a single person who doesn't. So.
And it would be nice. It seems like one time, like somebody's spouse, a wife came in and said how much they had appreciated it, and I'm telling you, that just buys a lot of goodwill, especially given the fact that you didn't do it in order to get them to come in and give testimony.
Right.
And what was the thought, is that it would just alleviate, I mean, my only concern is anymore it seems that military service is a career choice. And everybody I know that's in the military is there because they either want to support with their education or whatever, and they get paid while they're there. Is the idea just that because they're away, this alleviates financial burdens at home? Is that what we're trying to accomplish?
I think that was particularly during the active engagements issues, where the father or mother was extended away from it just was a way to kind of not only show some goodwill, but did assist. Because oftentimes when they left their jobs, a lot of times, now we were talking about National Guard in many cases, mostly National Guard, and so they were leaving their jobs in many cases, and in some cases taking a smaller pay, and that's what we felt. I failed to mention too, the requirement is that every 6 months they have to bring in renewed active order forms for us. So, and it's tracked really well through the utility department. They have a way to flag it and to have it pop up.
So is it written so that it's just those people who are part of the National Guard who have a regular job, and then when they go,
I think it's written that just anybody on active orders, meaning they're engaged.
Council Staley may know, how many, as far as I know, because I've had somebody that's worked full-time in my neighborhood for National Guard, so a full-time job with the National Guard, which again, I think makes a difference because that is
their job.
How many do we even have here in our area that's full-time? Because you don't have other full-time military that live here.
Yeah, just as far as full-time guard,
Yeah,
you've
we don't have
you've
other
probably
full-time
got less than
military, right?
10 in the county. I mean, you've got a couple of artillery battalions and then a military intelligence unit in the service. So you might have 10 active guys down in the armory.
That are full-time.
But the rest of them are guard, so they're part-time, and so if they get activated, they leave their regular job and they get on military
There's
pay.
we don't
And depending on their rank, could be quite a bit lower than what
That would be
civilian
my
pay
only
is.
concern, is that it's written so that, the way I understand it and the way we do it is we're helping those members of our military that are part-time, and if they're if that's their full-time job, that's not, I don't think what we're trying to accomplish with it.
Would we have any here that are full?
Yeah,
I mean,
do
usually,
we
to
have
me, they're
any?
usually around a base somewhere.
Well, if they're
full-time.
If there's 10 full-time National Guardsmen down here.
And they commute, that's the only thing thing I can even think of, and I've never known anybody that.
You know, we
even
might
know
just
it.
have, we might have 2 or 3 there's a gentleman in our ward that's full-time National Guard.
Yeah, and I had one too, full-time National Guard, but you're saying there's like 10 or 12 maybe.
The only thing
There's
I'd probably,
not a lot of,
In the whole county.
the only thing I'd probably say from the utility department, I don't wanna, I mean, maybe Kimberly has a different point of view on this, but I don't think we've ever felt that this has been taken advantage of.
Okay. I guess we could take a look at it if
Would
it.
you, you've not been made aware, have you,
narrow
of any?
exception to be able to, yeah, it's not something you can easily take advantage of.
Correct.
And the 6-month really does
My
keep them, and
worry
they're
is-
good. They'll come in a lot of times on their own in 6 months and say, you know, and again, they express some deep gratitude. We don't often get gratitude expressed at the utility office. So when it happens, it's kind of noteworthy, but we've had people that have been very grateful for.
So help me understand the difference between active orders. There's somebody that lived in my neighborhood that, as the market got difficult and jobs came short, he decided to enroll in the military and go get his education. So they sent him off to basic training. Is that active duty?
No.
well, I think it is. You would have orders.
You would have
Yeah.
But usually there's such short periods of time on
But you
their
might
basic
go,
training
you know,
and that.
basic training's 8 weeks, and you might go to advanced training for another, 12 to 16 weeks.
His deal was he's going to basic training and they're sending him somewhere.
So it's
Yeah,
not
for
upon
advanced
deployment?
I'll tell you, in most
And then when he
cases,
first-
I would
My
suggest
concern
it's when
is-
they're called into service.
Yeah,
When they're
it's
called
not,
up.
that's
That's
not a
usually when you
deployment,
see it,
though.
but
When
yeah,
they
you do get
deployed,
orders when you go through basic and AIT.
I just don't think we've had a lot of them that have gone through basic because of the short
Well,
time
this guy,
frame that's
his
really come and
family
taken
followed him
advantage
to basic training, but that, to me, I don't feel as sympathetic for those that just choose it as a career option as I do those that are really trying to perform some
of.
service.
Yeah, and we haven't really got that deep into it because we really haven't felt.
Okay, that's fine with me.
How many are in, over the years have we helped?
I think Kimberly was maybe looking for something.
Less than 10?
Well, no, I wasn't, well, no, there's been more than that in terms of when we had active, but obviously right now, we have one person who's coming and requesting. We usually get maybe 1 or 2 a year, but some people don't even know about it. So it's typically people who are being reactivated who have been, but I wanted to clarify that we don't have a written policy. What we
that's
have
right.
used
We
is
don't.
the council's minutes from 2005 when you said this is what you wanted to do.
Well, let's put
So we
together a
probably
written
have
And
policy.
Together
so
policy.
that is why it keeps coming up when we keep asking, because there is no written policy. And so initially in 2005, basically the language, because it was just a workshop meeting again, there's
Okay.
never been anything formally done that way, but it was to waive utility bills for a period of 6 months to those who've been called to active duty who care for a household. That's what you guys said. Yeah. So if the utility bill was in their name and they were responsible for it, and they were called to active duty. And so the term active duty, we've said, well, bring us your papers showing that you're being activated, and we used the time period that was listed on there.
And we have not
And it's
advertised
gone-
this, but who's
yeah.
been aware of this are the
National
military
Guard.
that, when they say, you may want to check with your utility department.
Well, I think that's part of our community covenant.
Covenant.
That's part of what we
Right.
put on that as part of that. And so they are educated when they are activated as part of that
And
covenant.
so it's come back to the council on a number of times with the question of basically the 6 months. Was it for a 6-month time period right then? We were only offering it during this 6 months right now. Was it you can be on it for 6 months? Was it, and every time we've kind of taken it back, it's really not clear. So
Okay.
we're
Well,
looking for.
And as that was brought up, I thought
Clarity.
back to the last discussion we had with the council, which was some time ago, and that was when we still had some fairly significant engagement on this level
Right.
in our community with the Middle East. And I remember, at least there was a portion of the discussion is that, and I was reflecting back on this after you and I originally talked, is that the council wasn't as concerned about that they would hear it every 6 months as long as there was an active engagement going on. But that they had to come in on the 6-month mark and just make sure that they were aware of that. Now that there's no active engagement, at least at the moment, I think it's appropriate that we bring this back to council to ask your guidance on it.
Well, I'm certainly in favor. I think we should put
Yeah, let's
something in
put a
place
policy
that
in
is a
place.
written policy. And I think it would behoove this council to do something that way, so we don't leave it to your
Could be.
guessing what we're trying to think, and that way it's something that can be written and put together. So, who's gonna take charge of that?
No, we will.
Okay.
I'm sure there's options or other policies out there.
Yeah, and
Pretty easy.
when you
I would
say
think pretty
policies
simple.
like this, it's always my objective to keep them fairly simple and
Short.
short.
Short, sweet.
Let me say, the guy that worked full-time in my neighborhood, I was, had some direct family contact with him the whole time that he was on duty as a full-time guy. They didn't have any different kind of financial issues just because he had gone there. I mean, emotionally they did, but in terms of just their income and stuff, it really didn't change because they were still full-timers. So I'm not so sure we even have people that come that, under that 10 or 15 guys that are full-time, even if they were on duty.
It was still good to have something in place. Yeah. Any other items to discuss?
No.
Okay,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
there's a motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Motion and a second.
Turek, aye.
Miller, aye.
Hudson, aye.
Staley, aye.
Truman, aye.
Gentlemen, we'll see you tomorrow, huh?
No, we have 15 minutes and then we
Then
have
you're
a
gonna be-
public forum.
Oh,